Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the weekly Parsha discussion. This week's Parsha is Parsha's Boy. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, Boy el Paro. Go to Paro. Come to Paro, right? Come to Paro. Bo, come to Paro. The Pasuk should have said, Lekh el Paro. Go to Paro. What do you mean, come to Paro? Where do you come? Rav Shimshon Ostropoli was a great Makubal. He was murdered by the Khmelnytsky massacres, by Ivan Gunter's, by Khmelnytsky, Bogdan Khmelnytsky's rebellion against the Polish government. He rebelled against the Poles, so he killed the Jews. He killed nearly 1 million Jews in the course of a year and a half, 2 years. 1648, 1649. Anyway, Rav Shimshon Ostropoli said, Boy, El Paro, bring an aleph base, bo, base aleph, right? Bring it to Paro. Why? Paro is the letters Peh, Resh, Ayin, Hey. He says, you're going to make the letters Peh and Ayin leave. You're going to force them out. Ayin, Peh, make up the word af. That means to fly out. Right? And you're going to bring Beis and Aleph into Paro. So it's going to be Aleph, Resh, Beis, Hey, which means Arba. So Moshe Rabbeinu told Paro, if you don't let the Jews go, I'm going to make you into a locust. You're going to be the Arba. Right? Bo el Paro. I'm going to bring Aleph base into Paro, make him the... And that's the way it is a lot of times that we do things and we don't realize the implications, how far-reaching what it is we do for ourselves and what we do for others. And if we're not careful, we could become our own locusts or our own damages. We are really responsible for a lot of things that go wrong in our life. But on the other hand, we are also credited with a lot of the good things that do go on in our life. When we do something good, right? So Hashem takes us. Not only will He not punish us, but He'll even give us some kind of rewards. Good health, emotional stability, financial help, whatever it is that we need, Hashem is going to be there for us. So we have to realize the Parsha Bo El Paro says a lot. In it, we have the last 3 plagues that plagued Egypt. Arba, the locusts, that destroyed any kind of vegetation. Right? We had the darkness, where the people were riveted to their spots. Darkness, as Rashi explains, Vayomesh Choshech, that the Choshech became mamash. It became real. Right now, darkness is an absence of light. That's the way we see it. In Egypt, the plague of darkness was that it became a physical darkness. Physical, so that if a person was sitting, he couldn't stand. If the person was standing, he couldn't sit. Right? But it's the darkness that blacked out the Egyptians. One of the reasons is, Rashi brings, that there were some good Jews in that generation, and there were some not so good Jews. And they didn't want to leave Egypt. It was comfortable for them in the bondage because this is what they knew. To go out of Egypt, we're going into the unknown, right? Everybody has a fear of the unknown. So sometimes the difficulties that we're in, well, let's stay there, right? But Hashem promises you to take you out, make you a free person. If you do X, Y, and Z, that's a tremendous promise. You learn to rely on Hashem. Learn to rely on Hashem. We have it at the end of the Parsha. when the Jews baked matzahs, right? And they went into the desert with just matzahs, and they're going 600,000 men with women and children, a few million people. And they went into the desert, no food. There was no McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever you want to call it on the road, right? Or Kosher Delight or whatever, right? They didn't have any of these way stations. All they had was desert. And they believed, Hashem said, I'm taking you out, I'll provide for you. Right? So that's like the makas choshech, the darkness. We let ourselves get enveloped in the darkness. We're afraid to move. We're afraid to take a step. No, don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid. Right? Don't ever be afraid. Because Hashem is always with you. Right? Another reason for the darkness was that Hashem promised the Jews, you're going to leave, but with great wealth. The Egyptians will give you whatever you ask for. They'll give it to you. So the Jews, during that time, they didn't steal. They walked into the Egyptians' house because they had light, and they were able to see the treasures that each Egyptian had. So they went around the house, they looked, they saw where the gold and the silver and all the precious items were, right? And then they walked out. When it came time to leave, after the firstborn was stricken, they said to the Egyptian, I worked for you for 116 years. Give me some. Egyptian said, bad times I don't have. You know how things go. You ever ask somebody for a donation? You know how it is. Well, these are bad times, they're rough times, I have bills to pay, whatever. So the Jew said, no, I know you have it because it's in this place, in that place. I saw it all. You have it all. I would like payment for my years of bondage. Same thing too, when Mashiach comes, we're all going to have great wealth. The Navi, especially in Yeshayahu, you find it, that the Jews were promised that for all the years that they were stuck in exile, and the nations always taxed them again and again and again, added to their increase. Look at the Israeli budget, right? How many billions are earmarked for defense? What for? Because the other guy wants to kill me, right? That's money that goes to waste. We will get all that back. All that money that we paid out in taxes and in unfair, there's fair taxes. You have to pay for road upkeep, for water, whatever the case is. There are things that are kosher taxes, but there are a lot of unkosher taxes. We're forced to pay for a lot of garbage, right? A lot of what they call pig barrels. Is that what they call it? Pork barrels? Yeah, pork barrels, right? A lot of stuff you have to pay for, which goes nowhere, does nothing for the people, but the senators or the representatives want it for their district. So we pay a lot of money. All that will come back to us when Mashiach comes. Right? This Parsha is beautiful because it has the exodus of all of Israel from the Egyptian bondage. And it could be for us too. We could this week, with Mashiach's coming, go out of the bondage, the slavery of mortgage payments, of all the stuff that we have to do. But we have to go out to work. We're going to be Be'ezah Hashem. We're going to be taken care of. Hashem will provide for us, and we'll all have a good life, a healthy life, a happy life. B'meira b'yameinu. Amen.